and live with fewer regrets. I'm Andy Stanley, and I'll be your guide. And today we're talking about the stories we tell ourselves about ourselves, our narratives. Remember your high school narrative? My parents are such idiots. School's such a waste of time. And then you grew up and you realized my parents aren't idiots, and school was definitely not a waste of time. But as adults, we tell ourselves similar things. They don't care, it doesn't matter, it won't make any difference. Or how about this one? I don't do exercise, right? The problem with these narratives is that they become excuses and they set us up to become our own worst enemies. So let's stop with all the false narratives, and today I'll tell you how right here on Your Move. Isn't it strange? I don't know if you ever think about this, but because I have to talk all the time, I have to think of things people aren't thinking about so I can make you think about it. So I'll have something to talk about. That's kind of my life, basically. But isn't it strange how we talk to ourselves? Because we all do this, right? We have conversations with ourselves. It's like there's two of us in there, sometimes three. If you have four, I don't really want to meet you. But anyway, these conversations that we have with ourselves, eventually we get down to this really, really big question that we all wrestle with. And this question is why? And here's what we do. Something happens and we think, why did that happen? Then we go to work trying to figure out why it happened. And why did this happen? Why did that happen? Why did this happen rather than that? And this is what I thought would happen, but this happened. And you can't help it. This is so human nature. We have this extraordinary habit, this inclination to impose a reason on randomness. We impose a reason on it. Something happens that doesn't make sense, and our minds just go to work trying to make sense out of randomness. And what we do is we create a narrative. We create our own narrative to make sense of things, right? We create a narrative to make sense of things. In fact, the worse the incident and the more personal the incident, the harder you work and the harder I work to make sense out of that. Because what's undeniable, regardless of your worldview, what's undeniable is that we create and often abide by our self-imposed narratives, whether they are accurate or not, whether they reflect reality or not. And this can be a problem. This can be a problem. In fact, this can lead you, as you have already experienced in your life. This isn't going to be new. I'm just going to put words around something you've already experienced. This can lead you to become your own worst enemy. So today we are in part 2 of our series. If you were here last time, you already know this, how not to be your own worst enemy. Now,
and welcome to Counsel of the Day with Shanrae. I am Shanrae, and let's dive right into it. Again, I am a degree counselor. Let me add this on because this 30 minutes is coming and going. I was running behind a little bit tonight, so we're going to be, like I said, running behind just a little bit. But as you can see, I'm Shanrae, and this is Counsel of the Day. I am going to move this on. I'm a degree counselor, and I've acquired my degrees from Ashford University. All right, and let's go on and start with my website disclaimer. And good evening to everyone that's on tonight. Good evening. Please be aware that due to the nature of the technology that I'm using, that there can be no assurance of confidentiality when using this online service. Should also be noted that due to changes in policies that all replies will be used as advisory and informational only and will not constitute an official determination. Information provided by me or other counselors or other counseling services are subject to the limitations of current and available material, but the final responsibility for successfully achieving a goal rests with you, the individual. Information online is designed to be helpful. However, this information does change frequently, and it is recommended that you, the individual, will consult another physician, another specialist, or religious leader to aid you in your overall behavioral wellness. All right, so let's move this along. Okay, so I am a Christian counselor. Let me show you the scripture for the month. The scripture for the month is Philippians 4:13, and it says that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And this is the New King James Version. All right, so let's move this on. This month, again, we have been talking about why. Well, this week has been why is it so hard to change bad habits? But we've been talking about bad habits and different things this month. All right, let's move this along. And I want to open this up a little bit for tonight's key points. Hopefully you can see them. All right. So number one says of key points is 5 ways to break your bad habit now. Number two is powerful new strategies from brain research. Number three is building awareness and taking control. Number four is replace the bad habits with a better one. Number six is use habit stacking. Number seven is use visual signals. Number eight is building accountability. And number nine is be patient with yourself. Number 10 is the takeaway as usual. So let's move on to this. All right. And the definitions, and I talked about them last week about habit, what they mean, and we're going to move this along because I am running behind. All right, let's open this up just a little bit. It says 5 ways to break your bad habit now. Okay, and it says the powerful new strategies from brain research. All right, so let's move this along. All right, so this is by Dr. Diane E. Dreyer. Dr. Diane, this is the research that I chose to highlight and to speak on this theory tonight by Dr. Diane E. Dreyer. So she says that if you tried breaking a bad habit in the past, and then you realize how difficult this can be, now brain research tells us why. Okay, when we perform an action repeatedly over time, it becomes a habit and we perform without consciously thinking about it. And our habits are processed in different parts of our brains than conscious thoughts. So we talked about this last night. Brain research. Hey, Aunt Mary, how you doing? So brain research tells us that when we repeat a behavior enough times, that we begin to do it unconsciously and we do it automatically. And this is how a conscious declarative memory becomes an unconscious procedural memory. We talked about that last night. These two type of memories involve different parts of our brains. And we talked about this again last night. The conscious declarative memory involves neural connections between the prefrontal cortex and the hippocampus, while the unconscious procedural memory involves the striatum and the cerebellum. All right, so this is why we can perform a habitual action without even being conscious of what we're doing. Many of us have found ourselves reaching for a bag of junk food, lighting up a cigarette, spending hours on social media, or plopping down on the couch to watch TV after work without consciously choosing to do so. But now, drawing upon neuroscience research, we can harness the power of our brains to break our bad habits and then establish better ones. And here are 5 ways Dr. Diane is saying that we can begin doing this. Now, we talked about certain things last night, and we're just gonna stack on what we talked about last night. So number one is I'm sorry, and I'm dealing with different devices, so I'm looking up, I'm looking down. This is a open forum, so if you have any questions or if you have any life scenarios that you don't mind sharing or you want to ask, I'm here and I will pause, I will highlight what you're asking or what you're sharing, okay, at any point. All right, so number one, let's move this along. Number one says, and let me open this. 5 ways, okay. Here we go. All right. So number one says, build awareness and take control. Habits are unconscious, and the first step in breaking a bad habit is bringing it into conscious awareness. So we can do this by consciously keeping score. And Dr. Diane was saying that her friend Bob smoked cigarettes for 20 years. And when he wanted to break this habit, he took out an index card, wrote down the date, and made a check mark for each cigarette that he smoked that first day. And just by becoming aware of doing this, he decreased the number of cigarettes that he smoked per day in 1 month. And he had been smoking cigarettes for 20 years. All right. He went down from 2 packs a day to one. Then he took charge, cutting down from smoking 20 cigarettes a day to just one. Um, and then she said to 19 a day, and then, I'm sorry, the next, progressively smoking less and less and less until you finally quit completely. So what habit do you want to break? Can you start keeping score to build your own awareness and take control of this unwanted habit? Now, again, last night we highlighted and it talked about two things. Habit breaking, it has to be a will. You have to be willing to do it. And then you have to put forth the effort or something, find what works for you to help you break whatever habit. And this is what worked for Dr. Diane's friend Bob. All right, so number two says, let me move this along. Number two says, replace the bad habit with a better one. So breaking an unwanted habit becomes easier when we replace it with a positive alternative. So as James Clear explains in his book Atomic Habits, our habits reinforce our identity. So when Bob was quitting smoking, he began jogging around the neighborhood after work. Jogging sent a new message to his brain that he was a healthy person, and a healthy person does not smoke. Okay, so this again, um, Dr. Dr. James Clear explains what a friend of his, well, what he started doing when he wanted to stop smoking. So changing our habits actually changed the architecture of our brains. Replacing an unwanted habit with a more positive one can help reduce obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD. Research at UCLA has shown that in only 10 weeks, people who choose an alternative behavior to shift into when they felt drawn into OCD experienced an 80% reduction in symptoms and a physical change in their brains. All right. So, to begin this positive change process for yourself, can you think of a better habit to replace the one that you want to break? All right. Number three, let me move this along. Number three, and I like this one. Let me see that. I have to take control. All right. Number three, it says use habit smoking. And let me move this along because that's 2, 3. Use habit smoking to build a better habit into your life. You can use a strategy called habit stacking. So connecting your new behavior to something you already do. Um, Doris is Dr. Clear is talking about a patient of his. Doris wanted to begin her days without getting sucked into negative news and social media in the morning. She decided to meditate instead. She always began her day with a cup of coffee. So, to stack the new meditation habit in her life, she took her morning cup of coffee into a quiet room for a few minutes of mindfulness meditation. This new habit helped her begin her days feeling more centered and serene. So, can you connect a healthy new habit with something that you already do throughout the day? All right, so that's what habit stacking is. If you can connect a healthy new habit, connect it to something that you already do in the daytime. This is called habit stacking. All right, so let's move on to number four. Number four. Number four talks about um here we go. Number four talks about use visual signals. So we're unconsciously signaled by our environments to reinforce our behaviors. So if we want to change a behavior, begin to change the signal. So to break an unwanted habit, take the candy, chips, and cookies off of the kitchen counter and put a bowl of fruit there instead. Okay. You can also use a positive affirmation such as a note saying that I am blank full, or I am, fill in the blanks with your own words. Fill in the blanks with your own words, your chosen goals. Post it where you can see it often on your desk, computer, or bathroom mirror. And whether it's removing temptations or posting affirmations, how can you use the power of visual signals to work for you? Now, this is something that I do. I use visual signals all the time. I have affirmations that's taped up on my bedroom walls. So when I get up, the first thing I do when I get up and I flip out of the bed or some try to move out of the bed, I look and I see these affirmations, and it's easy for me to just go on and start saying them and to start my day off with that. So this is one thing that I actually do practice, okay? And that practice is using visual signals. All right. So number five says, and let me move this along. Number 5 says to build accountability. Recruit support, and that's, we talked about accountability partners last night. So important when you want to change a negative behavior that's something that's going on in you. Accountability partners. Recruit support from others for your healthier new life. For example, if you want to exercise, find a workout buddy. Years ago, I used to sleep in on Saturday morning. This is what the doctor's talking about. And then a friend of hers named Janet, they signed up for a Saturday morning yoga class. And then they started making a commitment not only to involve themselves, but not only to, themselves, but to each other. So they would get out of bed, go to the yoga class together because they didn't want to let each other down. So accountability, I can't say that enough. Accountability is a powerful reinforcement. People in 12-step programs have overcome serious addictions with ongoing support of their group and sponsors. So, how can we recruit your own support system for accountability? Can you share your new goals with a friend, with a mentor, or with a coach that will help you follow through with your commitments? So, again, build accountability is number 5. Okay, building accountability. Number 6, let me move this along. Number 6 says, finally, as you take these steps, be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. Research has shown that small actions over time can produce monumental results. Um, Dr. Diane was talking about her friend Bob. He not only stopped smoking, but he also progressed from jogging to running marathons, making positive changes in his life one step at a time. Again, so the final step here, number 6 says, take take these steps, but be patient with yourself. It is important to be patient with yourself when it comes down to breaking habits that are not so helpful for you in your life. And again, everybody, there is no one that is exempt. Everybody has habits. Okay. And everybody has bad, good, neutral habits. But if these habits that you're experiencing, if they're starting to affect your life negatively, um and if you see that it's starting to affect your life negatively and you want to make a change, I strongly suggest number 5, find you an accountability partner, whether it's within a group, whether it's within a counselor group or a support group. Find yourself an accountability partner to help you, people, and somebody that's not going to be a yes man. Somebody that's going to tell you the truth. Somebody that cares enough about you or invested enough in you to tell you the truth and let you know that you can do this. You can do this. You can do this. You can become better. You can do this. You just got to stay the course. You just got to stay the course. Stay the course. Stay the course. Accountability partner is what I say is one of the greatest tools that anyone can have when it comes down to, and that's still considered your support system as well. An accountability partner is also your support system. And so if you can, that's two, you get two for one. Accountability and support. So if you choose that there's something in your life that you want to change for the better, number 5, I'm going to stand on number 5, finding an accountability partner slash support system. And then also number 6, take it in small steps. And then be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. The more you do something, the better you'll get doing it. The more you do so, that's the good, bad, or indifferent. The more you do something negative, the better you'll get at doing that. The more you do something on a positive note, the better you'll get with that. So again, but we're talking about positive things. I highlight positive things. And again, I am an optimist. I strongly believe that everybody can overcome anything that is negative in their life. You can overcome it. Now, it may take some longer period of time for some people, but again, the end results will always end in you becoming an overcomer. Again, so that is it for this evening. I will see you all next Sunday and next Monday for week 4 of Counsel of the Day with Shanrae. Let me move this on. I want to talk about the takeaway. So our takeaway for tonight, let me open this up so you can see this a little bit. All right, the takeaway. It says, as the Tao Te Ching reminds us, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So by taking the first step today to break an unwanted habit, you can begin this journey to a more fulfilling life. I'm going to repeat that again. The Tai Te Ching reminds us that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. By taking the first step today to break an unwanted habit, you can begin this journey to a more fulfilling life. All right, so let me move this along. All right, so this is I'm gonna open this up just a little. This is where I've gotten all my studies and my research from these, and this is again PhD Dr. Diane. I talked about her theory and her findings on tonight. And so, if you want to look it up for yourself, this is the website reference page. All right, so. All right. If there is a past Counsel of the Day with Shanrae series that you have missed or just want to rewatch, you can go to my YouTube channel at Shanrae Price. Please like, share, and subscribe, and select any past series that you would like to watch. All right. So let me move this along. All right, I am a professional one-on-one counselor, and I offer professional one-on-one counseling services. And if you're interested in this, feel free to contact me via my Facebook Messenger at Shanrae Price or via my email at shanrae@gmail.com. I'm a lifestyle strategist, and my aim is to aid you in your life goals and dreams. All right, and finally, let me open this up for you. I'd like to thank you for participating in Counsel of the Day with Shanrae, week 3, part 2 of bad habits. Why is it so hard to get rid of them? I'll see you with another subtopic this coming Sunday and Monday night. All right, have a good evening. Good night. Bye.